The onboard camera today. Point standings coming into this race. There's world champion Mika Hakkinen, who is the point leader now, 4 points ahead of Michael Schumacher. Then Eddie Irvine, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, Giancarlo Fisichella, Ralf Schumacher, and David Coulthard. Formation lap underway. Here at a thankfully dry but green racetrack. Ferrari 9 points up in the Manufacturers or Constructors Championship. Jordan, Benetton, Williams, Stewart, the top six. Race strategy today, Derek.
Well, visibility is not going to be a major problem, but it is for Mika Hakkinen that far back on the grid. Tire choice, well, most of them are going to be on softs. And, of course, the pit stops is really going to be the most critical part of this. Remember, they have done a considerable amount of testing here, but, of course, got nothing out of it yesterday on Saturday. So it's really going to be really the data they obtained here 2 weeks ago, but it is a lot milder than it was then.
Mika Hakkinen will start 14th. Eddie Irvine will start 17th. Michael Schumacher will start 6th. Overtaking possibilities on the first lap here.
Well, there is obviously a bit into the first turn because they'll be side by side as they go in there. But after that, they've got to really wait till they get down to the Adelaide hairpin, and that is quite a long way down. But a lot of high-speed stuff. Be interesting to see, I think, how Eddie Irvine works his way through the field. If it's anything like Canada, it's going to be pretty dramatic.
Will it be a benefit to Irvine if he can catch up Mika and the two of them work traffic together?
Not necessarily. You would like to think of it that way, but you know, just because one guy opens the door doesn't mean to say the fellow in front is going to let them both through. That's the problem. You never quite know if the chap can see you as you come up with two of you.
And chances are they'll all be involved in their own battles. Michael Schumacher has his worst start since Italy 2 years ago. He did start 16th when he won at Belgium, though, in 1995. So nothing's impossible.
No, it's going to be interesting to see just what he does. Remember, they had this split-up qualifying the first part of this. Oh, dear, they'd almost come to a halt there. Somebody has virtually come to a halt. Not at all. Oh, they're trying to do little standing starts out the back, which is causing havoc because nobody's allowed to overtake.
Trying to get as much heat in those tires as possible. Derek, a lot of rain yesterday, downpours of rain, a green racetrack this morning, and a very smooth surface here at Vandencourt. What's that going to mean, having a green racetrack?
Well, the fact I did mention earlier that, of course, the cars will be very, very low. They run low ride heights, which make things a little bit easier for them. But, of course, the cars are going to slide around quite a lot. Lack of grip, I would say.
Getting set for the start of round 7 of the World Championship, looking from Jean Alesi on the front row. The Grand Prix of France set to go as the safety car pulls into position. Field is set. That's the significance of the green flag waving at the back. And when the lights go out, we're racing in France.
Great start there by Rubens Barrichello. Alesi right behind. Look at it, working around the back there. Always, you've got to keep it clean, boys. We don't need an instant early on.
Incredibly clean start with all that lane changing and swapping around. And it's Barrichello for Jackie Stewart and Ford. Alesi slots into second. Coulthard in third. A pass there as Frentzen takes advantage.
Mika Hakkinen was making some moves too around the outside of that turn. See where he is now.
Here's Schumacher around the outside looking for 5th place, and he's got it.
Yes, he needs to get some points today. He's not going to get many chances with Mika so far back, but of course he does have to. Look at Mika working the back of the two Benettons there. Eddie is a long way back. Eddie's having a pretty lurid time. Look at Michael on the inside of Frentzen. He's not going to get much change out of Heinz-Harald, his German compatriot.
Mika moving up. Mika going past. Fisichella has made incredible gains here.
David Coulthard's really working over the back of Jean Alesi. Meanwhile, Rubens just wants to shut his eyes off the mirrors, should I say,
yes,
and absolutely go for it. Doesn't want to look behind him at all, and he's streaking away because Alesi is obviously having his work cut out, looking for David Coulthard behind him.
So it's Barrichello, Alesi, Coulthard looking to the inside as they come down the straight.
What a great moment for Jackie Stewart and that Ford team. Let's see one of their cars in the lead of the French Grand Prix or any Grand Prix.
Jean Alesi. And here comes Coulthard.
And he goes by him under brakes down to the Adelaide hairpin. Was Alesi going to get the inside? No, he doesn't. John, of course, might be running a different fuel strategy. Remember, John Alesi's car does have last year's Formula One Ferrari engine in it, so they have quite a bit of power. He has Heinz-Harald Frenzen's attentions on the back of him now, and of course Michael Schumacher close behind.
Well, what Alesi must feel right now is relief. In the pre-race in Canada, Peter talked to him. He said, all we need to do is get past the first lap. And unfortunately, he was a victim, didn't get past the first corner, but now running a strong third after starting second. Rubens Barrichello out front of the Stewart Ford. David Coulthard giving chase in the McLaren Mercedes. Jean Alesi third. Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the Jordan fourth. Michael Schumacher in fifth.
Mika Hakkinen well up there. He's got by both the Benettons. Looking in very, very good shape indeed in ninth place. 5 seconds, mind you, behind the lead at the moment. But he's really moving very well. David Coulthard knows he has to get this break on Barrichello if he's to win this race. Of all the people in this race, David Coulthard needs a lot of luck today and a lot of his great talent coming to the fore at the same time.
Olivier Panis started in third. Jarno Trulli started eighth. They are now running sixth and seventh, nose to tail, the two Prosts.
David's got to get by Rubens as they come into that Adelaide hairpin. He's got to have a go at him next time. Get in that slipstream, David. It's not easy. We know it gets turbulent air, and of course, because they're running probably not such high downforce as one would imagine, it makes it very difficult to get into these fast corners without losing the front end of the car.
Now Barrichello qualified on pole, but that was in the rain. Coulthard has been one of the three fastest drivers here in almost every practice session in the drive. Mika Hakkinen is up to 8th. Passing Fisichella puts him up to 8th behind the two Prosts. After starting 14th. Michael Schumacher started 6th. He is 5th. And Eddie Irvine, who started 17th, is running there. So Irvine unable to advance. Coulthard now all over Rubens Barrichello for the lead.
In fact, Irvine's dropped back behind Damon Hill, can you believe, into 18th place. So he's not having a good time back there at all, having been very strong in practice on Friday. Now, come on, David, you've got to make the great going down into Adelaide hairpin. You've got to get close enough to that Stewart car in front of you, because Mika is on the move. He's only 5.7 seconds behind, but here we go, David. You've got to do it coming into that hairpin.
Ooh, didn't get a good launch out of the corner, Derek.
No, certainly didn't.
And you see how that hurts him all the way down that straightaway.
But you see, you've got these long corners and this change of direction that really does upset your aerodynamics.
Meanwhile, Mika Hakkinen has passed Jarno Trulli, so now he is between the two Prosts. And moving up quickly now to 7th place. Johnny Herbert's dropped back several spots.
He must have had a bit of wild time off the road, because he didn't qualify that badly. He was usually up there in 9th place.
No, he went off. His last lap, 6 seconds a lap slower than the cars that he was racing with.
Come on, David, you've got to show how good that McLaren is. You've just got to get in front, because you're not doing any good back there at all. You're not doing yourself any favours either. And what we'll just ride with a lazy. Turn 1. Second. They are
Frentzen right behind him. Now there's Hakkinen making the pass on Olivier Panis. So Mika Hakkinen is now up to 6th.
Doing a wonderful piece of work. I think he's not that far behind Michael Schumacher at this point. Oh dear, Johnny Herbert in the pit.
Well, probably to repair whatever damage from the problem he had on the last lap. Heinz-Harald Frentzen now is all over Jean Alesi for 3rd.
What a great drive by Mika Hakkinen. Look at that. He's behind Michael Schumacher. That is a stirring piece of work by Mika. But of course, he may well be on a two-stop strategy, running low fuel to get up through the field and come in quickly and get out again.
So the McLarens are on the move. David Coulthard, Patrick Barrichello, and Mika Hakkinen now closing down on Michael Schumacher. 4 laps complete in the Grand Prix of France. You're watching Formula One on Fox Sports Net. Back, there's a new leader in the Grand Prix of France. David Coulthard has made his move. and past Rubens Barrichello, who did not give up the position without a fight. Now McLaren is in front.
Now David's going to start to pull away. He's going to have a clean bit of track in front of him. And of course the McLaren is an outstanding car when it's a smooth surface, or any circuit for that matter. But you can see already he's inching away. Let's watch it as he comes down. Rubens moves across the road a bit, but David gets through. Very clean stuff by Rubens, you have to admit, but he then comes up the inside because he has the better line out the corner. But look at him drawing alongside the McLaren as they go down the straight. But at the end it was David that benefits most.
So Barrichello leads the first 5 laps before giving way to David Coulthard. John Alesi third. Heinz-Harald Frentzen holds fourth. Michael Schumacher and Mika Hakkinen are separated now by just 0.8 of a second on the racetrack. The two Prost run 7th and 8th. The two Benettons 9th and 10th. The Sauber of Benitez 11th. Ralf Schumacher 12th. And Jacques Villeneuve, Zanardi, Zonta, Hill, Irvine.
Mika Hakkinen clocking in a very, very quick lap there on his pursuit of Michael Schumacher. We should see how Michael's going to contend with this. They are running close together there. Michael is not going to give him too much room, I don't think.
Big slide by Schumacher coming off that corner. I'll tell you, Derek, the drivers may bemoan the lack of grip with these treaded tires, but to watch them slide through the corner is so different from the slot car-like full downforce magnetized to the track racing that we've seen in years past. This is fun to watch.
Yes, I don't think none of the drivers object to sliding around. It is very exciting as a driver and very appealing to the driver to slide, knowing he's going to be drifting the car through corner. But it is this nervousness that the drivers don't like, and we saw that a lot in Canada. Look at Mika's all over the back. That smoothness of that McLaren is very evident right now.
Coulthard started fourth. He is the leader. Mika Hakkinen has come from 14th to 6th. Ralf Schumacher has advanced from 16th to 12th. Those are the biggest movers in the field thus far. And all because qualifying yesterday was held in a downpour.
Look at that lap for David, 1:19.4. That is a very fine lap. That is substantially quicker than anybody else has gone by over half a second. Look, down the inside. No, Mika takes a look. Michael's got to get close to that Jordan in front of him. But of course, when he gets there, he's going to in the disturbed air, and he's not going to like that very much. I'm surprised he's actually let Frentzen get away the way he has.
Well, they are catching up Frentzen rather quickly now. I wonder about Schumacher's strategy, that he's not been able to challenge Frentzen. Is perhaps he running with fuller tanks and on a different race strategy?
Well, that was my feeling initially, and I feel that is the case. It's just that Mika has made a much more outstanding start than one would imagine. The first few laps are electrifying. Look at him, he's all over the back of Mike. He's going to have to get by in a minute. You see, he can catch up in the slower corners on the slower speed straights, but of course he can't into the fast corners because of the turbulence. The problem, it seems to me, with these tyres is that they're so susceptible to wind change, temperature, and this sort of thing. And it was very warm when they did their tests here last week.
But I wonder, too, if the other drivers in the field are subject to what in NASCAR you would have called the Earnhardt effect, or the last couple of years in kart, the Zanardi effect. The drivers knowing... Look. Oh, here he goes.
Oh, dear. Is he going to go? Yes, he's got him. What a great piece of... No, Michael's on the inside. He made sure of that. He said, Mika, if you want to take me, boy, you got to go around the outside. So Mika had a look, but... he wanted to go the long way around, that is for sure. Very cool bit of driving by Schumacher there.
Well, and by Mika. Mika had a great run on him coming down the straightaway, but also championships are not won with give or die passes like that. So Hakkinen wisely took the long way around. Here it is again.
Yes, he didn't have that many options. Michael's very lucky that his car got the grip turning in with the front, and he could actually not slide out too wide. But obviously the writing is on the wall for Michael if he doesn't get his act together soon.
Well, I was talking about the Zanardi effect, as in some of the cars starting further back, knowing that Hakkinen is back there, are going to be looking for him in the mirrors and are going to give way rather than challenge someone who is a potential race leader.
Yes.
As a little rain begins to fall here.
A little rain. They're putting on their jackets. I can see that. So it's going to make it very interesting for the next part of the race. This is where Schumacher normally shines when it starts to get into tricky conditions. I believe he has got heavy tanks because, as I said, they've done a lot of testing here. He was very confident on Friday, So why is he, falling back into the clutches of Hakkinen, if that's the right? Mika all over the back of him as they come down the straight. Now Mika's got the inside. He's going to go. Lovely bit of overtaking. Come on, Michael, up the inside. No, can't quite do that. Good bit of driving there. Oh, look at the power of that Ferrari. There's still other aces.
Side by side.
By side. Absolutely side by side. But Mika gets ahead. Very gentlemanly bit of work there by the two drivers. Very professional bit of stuff. But of course, we don't know what the strategy is.
Well, there's another possibility that Peter raises from the pit lane. And he says that it's possible that Ferrari may be anticipating... Oh, and off the course is Coulthard.
David Coulthard, he's not...
And out.
He's out. David Coulthard's luck in the lead of the race. I cannot believe it. That is just criminal. Poor old David had the chance to go out, get some points, win a race. And there he is on the grass, pulled off. Tragic for David. The reliability or the unreliability of these McLarens has come into question quite a lot this year.
And far more so for Coulthard than for Mika Hakkinen. And Rubens Barrichello is once again the leader. Horrible luck for David Coulthard.
Yeah, that is really tough for David. He's had some really, really good drives this year, but they always seem to be thwarted by bad luck and a lot of technical problems. And we don't know what that was. It didn't look to be an engine because there was not clouds of smoke, but who knows? That leaves Rubens looking quite nice up front with Jean Alesi just 7 seconds, or should I say 4 seconds behind him. And Barrichello needs that because we don't know, normally we know that the Ford has smaller fuel tanks and therefore probably has to make 2 pit stops.
It is the 4th time in 7 attempts that David Coulthard has failed to finish a Grand Prix this season. I was talking about Michael Schumacher. Peter theorizes that perhaps the Ferraris are set up with a different ride height than the McLarens in anticipation of wet weather later in the day. That's one of the theories floating up and down pit road.
Yeah, well, they all have planes, these guys. They all have pilots, and they all have, contact with the meteorological offices. So therefore, I guess they've all been listening to different forecasts. But basically, you would think that is possibly the case, allowing for this drizzle to deteriorate and make it into heavy rain.
All right, Sauber is laid out in the pit lane. Perhaps for Pedro Diniz as we watch Jean Alesi out the second place car. Problems in the satellite transmission from France to the United States, we're told. We apologize for trouble with the world feed. Not something that's under our control. There's a little bit of video breakup there. And still, Mika Hakkinen now putting the pressure on Heinz-Harald Frentzen. And Jean Alesi just ahead.
Oh, look at the way that McLaren turns into those slow corners. It just has such mechanical grip. Ferrari used their qualifying engine, a special new engine in qualifying, but they've had some unreliability areas with it during testing. All lazily locking up a tire, and so they're not using it for race and will not be so for the foreseeable future. So they're back to their favorite reliable workhorse. The
Sauber crew has put their tools away. A little early for a stop here as Coulthard's car is lifted away. Second, third, and fourth is the battle we're watching. In yellow is Frentzen. Silver and black is Mika Hakkinen, and just ahead is the blue Sauber of Jean Alesi in second place. Rubens Barrichello led the first 5 laps and has now led the 10th and 11th with the retirement of David Coulthard. Frentzen trying to hold off Hakkinen, who has come from 16th on the grid. Or excuse me, 14th on the grid.
Irvine has started to move up. He's up into 12th place, so he's actually been on the move. Haven't seen too much of him. Mika's going to do the same as he did on Schumacher. He's got to get him down to Adelaide hairpin, but it is nice to see these braking areas. Here we are. Look at Jean Alesi. Locking that tire up as he comes in there. Look at that smoking coming on, but look at the grey clouds behind in the background. Mika all over the back of Heinz-Harald Frentzen.
There was just a little bit of a sprinkle, but those dark clouds are moving in this direction. In the drivers' meeting, it was said that if there was a heavy rain past 3/4 of a distance, the race would be red flagged official. But if before that time heavy rain falls, the drivers have requested the race be red flagged and then it would be restarted. believe we saw Pedro Diniz walking
I
back.
was just going to say, they were setting out the pits to have him in for a pit stop, but his car never made it. He did on foot.
So Coulthard is out. Pedro Diniz and Johnny Herbert are the early retirees from the French Grand Prix. 13 laps complete. You're watching Formula One on Fox Sports Net.
More.
Mika Hakkinen makes the move, and Heinz-Harald Frentzen goes right back after him up the straightaway.
We saw that all before with the Ferrari. It's not as easy to do that.
And Hakkinen gets the spot.
Yeah, he set him up as he had done Michael Schumacher just a few laps previously. Great piece of move there by Mika Hakkinen.
So Hakkinen moves up into
Here we
third
go.
place. Here's another look at it as he pulls out on Frentzen.
Yeah, slips down the inside very easily. Gets those brakes really, really hot as he turns in there. Overshoots just a little bit as he turns in, but that was it. He's through.
Hakkinen's best finish in the French Grand Prix, third last year.
Yeah, well, he's certainly on the way to win today if he keeps up the progress he's doing. 5.6 seconds behind this man, Rubens Barrichello, who's yet again we see a Stuart Ford leading the Grand Prix of France.
Alesi in second, and now Alesi under pressure from Hakkinen for the second position.
They do look so fast going into that long estuarial curve. Remember, it's very, very smooth. The circuit is so smooth.
Now we've seen from the in-car, Alesi has a little
Look,
trouble.
here we go. No, he's not just taking a look. He's a little bit too far back this time, but he's showing Jean that is what he's going to do.
And probably next lap, because Alesi, we've seen from the in-car, has trouble. He has to really modulate the throttle to get the power down smoothly coming out of the corner, where we saw when Coulthard passed him from the in-car, he could just hammer it.
Look. That's a... Is that Ralph? No, Zanardi having a look at one of the... look at him. Whoa, on the other side. Zanardi having a good old look there. I can't tell from his
I think it's Ralf Schumacher going after Fisichella for 8th place.
They're having a real old tussle. Yeah, they're having a real go back there. Yeah, I can get him soon, he's saying. Remember, both these cars are running the same engines. They're running the Renault, basically the Renault engine.
Ralf climbs a curve, turn 24 this week.
40th Grand Prix today, I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah. 8th place is at stake here. Behind the two Prosts. Fisichella, the Benetton in blue, Ralf Schumacher, and Mika Hakkinen continues to press Jean Alesi now for second.
Are they going to touch? Yes, he just slips by. Well done, Ralph. Nice clinical bit of maneuvering there.
Where was it last year? Was it Brazil? The two of them had the big off together.
Well, they're in the same team.
Last year?
They were in the same team. The year before.
Yes, it was.
Yes, the first year. They had a lot. They didn't talk too much after that. That ruined their relationship.
This was much better.
Here we go. Here's the move again. Very clean, clinical move down the inside. Showing him the inside. Sorry, Dawn, look at the engine as it pops off, and then he gets back on the power again. Goes across in front of him, so he can't out-accelerate him, and away he goes. Mika, meanwhile, really look at the back of Jean Alesi with great intentions here. He's going to soon make the... no, he's still not doing the quickest lap of the race at the moment because he's being slowed down by Jean Alesi.
And all this, of course, working to the Stewart's advantage. Rubens Barrichello, the leader, this man second.
Fifth gear, is it? He's going to get another. Often they get another one with about 150 yards from the corner at the end of the straight. Come on, Mick, you've got to get by him under braking. Obviously, the last thing Hakkinen wants to do is to make a silly move and go off the road just by locking everything up. So easy to do these. The point between grip and losing grip with far as braking is concerned is very, very fine. Look how wide a line Mika takes going into there to get the exit smoother.
You saw Barrichello disappearing in the distance. His lead now down to 4.6 seconds over Alesi. Another half second to Mika Hakkinen. Just a little bit of drizzle falling here along the pit straight.
Ooh, it's falling a bit out there too, by the look of it, by the way he slithered around. Mind you, these tires, remember, are a very hard compound to take the grooves. They have to be a hard Look, the Lacey's taking it steady because he's been told by spotters that it is a little bit damp going through there, so take it easy.
And Peter Windsor from the pit lane believes that the McLarens are on a full dry setting, and if it does become damp, those cars are not going to be as well suited to the changing conditions as perhaps some of the other setups.
I think it's very fair comment. That's the way they've set them up. And obviously they're benefiting from the handling of the car at the moment. But if it gets wet, who knows? There he goes. The Jean Alesi doesn't let him by.
Oh, they're off.
They both go off. Obviously, Jean Alesi left it very late. Mika left it even later, and they both go off the road. Here we go again. Let's see it. Here they go. Braking. Mika does lock the brakes up, the tires up towards the end, can't turn in, and doesn't let allow John Lacey to turn in either, and goes by. Bit of Formula Ford stuff there, I thought.
You'd think the apex of that corner was in Paris. Now Hakkinen will set sail on the race leader. At the time of the pass, Mika Hakkinen was 4.8 seconds behind Rubens Barrichello, the leader. See Barrichello. Here's another look from Jean Alesi.
Here we go. Look at Mika. Look how close they are. Look at the smoke off. Jean Alesi's tires will need changing very shortly. He goes to turn in but can't because Mika's in the way.
He had to take a third bite out of the apple before he had room to turn in.
Who says these guys don't have good peripheral vision?
So Hakkinen's quickly eats up a tenth of Barrichello's lead. Rubens Barrichello has led twice, laps 1 through 5, and now lap 10 to 18. Hakkinen second, Alesi third, Frentzen, Michael Schumacher, and the Frost of Pani and Trulli are now positioned one in the points and one just outside. Mika's last lap, 3/10 quicker than Rubens. Their best laps, very similar. Meanwhile, Eddie Irvine, who started 17th and fell to 18th, has now climbed to 10th place, 21 seconds off the lead. And with David Coulthard's McLaren out, it gives Ferrari 2 chances at scoring points but Eddie's going to find those positions much harder to gain from here on out.
Well, they got 1 or 2 pit stops to make. They should make them fairly shortly if they get to lap 20. In a couple of laps, we should see some of the 2 stoppers coming in. And then we'll just sort of really see their true colours. Michael not losing that much, really. He's losing enough to Hakkinen, but of course, remember, he's probably running a very high downforce setup. And, of course, maybe even running lower because of the wet setting.
At 20 laps, timing now showing Hakkinen 3.3 seconds back. So he is eating into Barrichello's lead rather quickly. Now, for the 2 stoppers, pit stops could come as early as lap 22, about 3 laps from now. I wonder, Derek, if we'll see some of those Schumacher-Imola type strategies where a team will run to halfway or as close to halfway and then decide whether or not to take a second stop, or will they all have to go 2 stops?
Some of it, I think, depends from Schumacher's point of view and maybe Eddie Irvine's, is just whether they can adjust anything on the car when he comes in which case they'll want him to come in on a 2-stopper. But I don't know how much they can do in those 8.5 seconds. Not too much. Ooh, Mika getting a little bit sideways there.
Wet.
Yeah, well, that is obviously, here it comes. Here comes the rain.
Oh,
of course, it's going to come very conveniently just as they could come in and change tyres. Remember, these tyres are here. They're not even getting on the powder, boys. They're taking it very, very gently. Look how he's caught up to within 2 seconds of Rubens.
He may have, if it's raining as hard the rest of the circuit as it is on the pit lane, that may have been a tactical error because Hakkinen right there had a chance to dive into the pits if they were looking to make a change. But he bypassed the pit entrance, soldiered on.
There's no way that Hakkinen is going to get an advantage at this point by going in and changing tyres. There's no advantage. Eddie Irvine here has just come in the pits, but you can see the spray starting to come up there. So there is getting quite a lot of rain. These tyres are rock hard. They're so hard because they have got these grooves in, so therefore they're no good at all in the rain.
Irvine Fisichello's team was not ready. That's the frantic activity there, but he wanted to be in. Fisichella is also in. Jacques Villeneuve is in. Damon Hill is in.
Look at the tires went out in the Ferrari pit. That was a disaster. Oh, look.
Verts. Excuse me.
That's Fisichella. Irvine, oh my goodness, what a show.
Yeah.
It is teeming with rain, but of course it's not maybe such a major disadvantage because a lot of the guys are going to have to go very slowly on this lap. Now, of course, Eddie will have made a bit of a mess with the pit stop as far as Michael Schumacher coming in to change tyres, because Michael was surely coming on this lap. Here he is. I know that's Eddie going out, I apologize.
Stewart getting ready for Barrichello. And of course, everybody having to drag out wet weather tires. We're watching from Jean Alesi again.
Damon Hill stalled in his pit stop, but he managed to get it going again. Remember, this ride we're doing here with Alesi, he's going to go in this lap. Alesi's got to go in and change tyres. There's Mika Hakkinen going in as well.
Barrichello, the race leader, is in. Everyone is coming to pit lane.
And I don't know that it's going to rain that long. It doesn't look around us as that it's going to be raining all the time.
Now, how will the tires differ, Derek?
Well, it depends which wet they use, but they do have a very wet compound to use and a much harder compound. I would imagine they'll go for the softer one myself. I just hope they last 22 laps.
There are the rain tires. You see the trends.
We didn't see how long Schumacher's stop was, but he goes out just behind Alesi, so he made up a bit of time there.
Barrichello still the leader, and Damon Hill is off.
But he's off in the grass, so he's doing a bit of cross-country and back on the road again. Well, he doesn't seem to be going very fast, unless he doesn't want to get in somebody's way. We're riding with Alesi, who does drive incredibly well in the wet.
Alesi and Schumacher, the race would, I won't say fall into their lap like a bucket of cold water, but and
There's
there's
Damon
Hill.
going slowly. Yeah, Damon has got a problem. That's probably why he stopped. Look at Jean catching up that. He's catching up the guy, whoever it is in front.
Very good Lorraine. Williams at work. And you see the difference. That's one of the dry tires closest to the bottom
Can I
of the
just say,
screen.
they're changing the setup on the car. See, they're changing the wings on that car, the front spoilers and splitters. The wet setting.
And Damon Hill spun again, we're told. As Alesi fights for grip.
It's not wet enough for a safety car yet. I don't think they'll bring it out in these conditions. I mean, these guys like racing in the wet. It's not as wet as it was yesterday in qualifying.
So Barrichello leads from Mika Hakkinen. Jean Alesi is third. Frentzen is fourth. The Schumacher brothers fifth and sixth. Then the Prosts of Trulli and Penny. We'll be right back to Magny-Cours after this. Long walk back to the paddock after spinning. And here's a look from the in-car.
Puts all the opposite lock on he can, but he's out. And he goes out onto this, what I would have thought was very hard-packed gravel, but he couldn't get the grip to get out of it. Very sad for Jean, lying in a very good third place. Here's Barrichello, who, of course, has got Mika Hakkinen fairly close behind.
First, second, third, we're all running, within sight of one another, very close contact. And Alesi might have had a shot at getting to the lead. Safety car is coming out as Villeneuve gets set to come in. Heavy rain continuing to fall. There's the Mercedes CLK that's used as the safety car in F1. And it just came out a lap too late for Jean Alesi. What a shame.
Yeah, that was a great pity because he's such a good driver in the wet. I mean, we could see nothing through the camera. It helps he had better visibility through your visor, as one can imagine, because the rain is running off around your visor. But the trouble is, being behind a safety car, you can also have a terrible time. Remember once racing at Fuji, Ix and I were side by side behind the pace car, and the car just slid sideways and hit him as we were going down the straight behind the pace car because of the aquaplane.
Goodness. Well, we are under a full course caution with the safety car out. Yellow flags flying all the way around the course for this heavy downpour. Very similar to qualifying conditions yesterday. And in this morning's drivers' meeting, the drivers had asked that if rain falls before three-quarter distance, the race be halted and then restarted when conditions permit. Here's Villeneuve, was running in ninth.
He's got, it looks like they're clearing something out of the radiators while they're refueling. Just point out, of course, just because the safety car is out, it doesn't mean to say the race has stopped. He's just out there to control the speeds because the visibility is so atrocious.
Not doing much for our camera lenses either. Keith Olbermann and Kevin Frazier bring you all the day's scores, highlights, and breaking news on Fox Sports News prime time nightly at 10.
Well, this should build up to being quite an amazing race. I don't quite see why Mika Hakkinen has dropped so far back behind Barrichello when he was actually right up all over the back of him trying to get the lead just moments ago. But it should be making a very interesting restart when we see Barrichello, Hakkinen, Frentzen and Michael Schumacher all duking it out, as you say, for the lead.
The safety car can turn in without warning. Was that in Canada? On the last lap, the safety car dipped in and threw the course back to green right at the end of the last lap. I mean, was there any sort of signal or warning or anything that the safety car was going on?
I think the drivers probably knew, but we certainly didn't.
No, right. Unlike American racing, where in most forms of racing in the U.S., the caution lights atop the safety car are extinguished one lap before we go back to green. Now, these are yellow flag laps. They do count. And Barrichello is waving. I wonder if they've been signaled that the race would be halted. Well, there's waving either to the crowd or to acknowledge a signal.
I don't think you're waving to the crowd at that point.
No.
He hasn't really achieved anything much apart from quite a fine job, but there's a long way to go. You don't wave until you're there.
So here's the standings of 26 laps. Barrichello for Stuart Ford, Hakkinen, McLaren Mercedes, the Jordan Honda of Frentzen, the Ferrari Michael Schumacher, and both Prosts doing very well here. Olivier Penny 5th and Jarno Trulli 6th. Now the race could not, I believe, be called official at 25 laps distance. So we'll continue here under caution until the decision is made whether to wait for better weather or... Oh, Jacques Villeneuve has spun trying to catch up the safety car after making that stop.
And that's why he came in and had some of the gravel removed from his radiator while they were checking that there wasn't too much gravel in there.
And here comes the Hook, already has one car on it. It's going after another. Well, the rain appears to be letting up somewhat. And there goes Wirtz. Well, there goes Wirtz's car. Off to an early retirement. So Alexander Wirtz is
not redeeming himself very cleverly this year, I'm afraid. Oh dear.
No, nor is that crane driver.
Careful with my $1 million car while it's up there on the end of your crane.
Right. And now we understand, Eric, that these caution flags are not necessarily for the rain, but to remove the cars that have spun in the rain. There is Villeneuve.
So he went off twice.
And you see he's dug in that left rear tire, spinning wheels, trying to get grip in the gravel. And once you dig it into where the chassis is on the ground, there's no going further.
So still no finish for Mr. Villeneuve.
No.
Mika Hakkinen, if they do go to green at any point, look how close Schumacher, of course, is going to be behind them. It's going to be quite something out there. It looks like Michael Schumacher was actually ahead of Frentzen, but I'm sure he wasn't. It looked like he was on the road at that point. That in-car shot we just had. That's quite a lot of damage to that Minardi there.
Well, they keep falling off the road, and the attrition rate is getting higher rather quickly. We are under a full course caution in the Grand Prix of France. We'll be right back. Lights are out atop the safety car, yes, and it will be in, and we will go back to racing with Rubens Barrichello in the Stuart Ford, leading Mika Hakkinen, Heinz-Harald Frentzen, and Michael Schumacher. The best opportunity to pass will be right when the green light goes, before those big rooster tails kick up and the cars get to speed. No passing until the start-finish line.
No, it's going to be very difficult to sort of hold yourself back. Of course, the other thing is to contend with is not overtaking where there's deep water and aquaplaning off the road. And the other fact is, of course, that Barrichello has clear vision. The other guys won't have such a good view as him, so he'll want to get going as quick as he can, and the others have got to fumble their way by him. Here we go. The start is on now.
Safety car is off. The green lights are on. The French Grand Prix is back underway.
Now, can you see much behind? I doubt it.
Hakkinen had to look way to the outside as they came down the pit straightaway.
This is where great judgment comes in. They've got to be so careful. They have not driven in these conditions since yesterday in qualifying, and they're even different now because they're different. And so it's going to be very, very careful for them. Got to be so careful.
11 yellow flag laps behind the safety car, and now back under green in far, far different conditions than we started this race.
Now we'll see just how well they had set that Ferrari up for wet conditions, because Michael, oh, look at Michael. He really caught up the Jordan coming in there on the braking, but then overshot it.
So Frentzen continues to sit third in the yellow Jordan. There's Schumacher fourth, the red Ferrari, and then the Prosts. Penny and Trulli, Ralf Schumacher in seventh.
This should be a very intriguing last 59 minutes if it stays in the rain, or whether it dries out, it should be sooner to the end of this race.
Halfway this next time by.
They're working their way through the Imola, left and right, working their way up to Chateau d'Eau for this little short dash down the back straightaway into the chicane.
And you can see in some of these corners where there's water literally running across the surface, a little river across the racetrack, which means it's impossible to brake, impossible to accelerate as you go through that.
Now, you watch out for Schumacher. He was looking down the inside of Heinz-Harald Frentzen coming in there. You know, he's going to be looking to go down and take an unusual line. Remember that the track is generally a lot better grip on the outside of the corner where the cars don't normally run. This circuit, because it's so smooth, it probably doesn't work that way. But certainly places like Monza and Silverstone, if you take the abnormal line, and that is the wide line round the outside, you'll get much more traction because the track has more grip because there's no rubber there.
Right, and it's not been abraded by the tires constantly racing on that part of the circuit. So the asphalt has a little more tooth to it. Under braking, Hakkinen catches up Barrichello. In the hairpin, no opportunity there. Then Frentzen and Schumacher. I'd imagine too, Derek, that with all of these yellow laps, as the drivers drive around behind the safety car, they're not just marking time, they're looking for where the standing water is on the track and making mental notes of what areas they have to avoid and where they have to be especially careful.
Oh, absolutely. They're really taking it all in. It's very difficult to concentrate when you're going so slowly. You've also got to try and keep the engine temperatures up as well. Vital to keep those temperatures up when you're on those very slow laps.
In the rain, are the speeds so reduced the drivers have to rely much more on mechanical grip than how much of the aerodynamic grip do they lose running in the rain at these speeds?
Well, because they're certainly a little bit slow, they're going to look at Schumacher having another look down inside the Jordan. Aerodynamic grip is still absolutely paramount. The faster you go, the more grip you're going to get. Oh, look at Schumacher slithering out of there. The faster you go, the more downforce you're going to get, the more the aerodynamics are going to work. So consequently, as the speeds they're going now, the aerodynamics are working amazingly well for them. The mechanical grip will work better for them in the slower corners, and that's probably what Ferraris had set up for before today's race, assuming it was going to be wet later on, and they weren't far out on that.
Nice helicopter shot.
And look at, no, Hakkinen's trying to, sorry, my Hakkinen's trying to keep out of the spray of Barrichello. He's also looking down the inside. Ooh, very brave.
Whoa,
he lost it. Oh, here, he's going to lose it. He's going to drop. Also, Michael had overtaken the Jordan too, I think. No, I was wrong at that.
The two Prosts get by.
No, he didn't get by. I'm sorry. I missed the Jordan.
The two Prosts get by, and I believe Hakkinen's resumed in sixth.
Yeah, you see, he's coming in a bit hot here, and he just loses it. He just loses it coming out. He touches that curb. You can't believe that it's like driving on ice. It really is. Let's watch it again. Here he comes in, just touches that curb, out goes the tail, and that's it. Good night, Mika Hakkinen. It's a pity he couldn't have quickly done a 360. I think if it had a manual gearbox, he'd have probably been able to get back into first before he'd finished and get off, but he didn't.
Well, Hakkinen, his line pinched down there, was trying to accelerate with a wheel on the curb and a wheel on the asphalt, and as he tried to feed it throttle, the car came right around.
I don't think any of us can really comprehend sitting here watching it, just how bad, how slippery it is out there as they work their way down into the final turn, going out onto the pit straight. Now Jordan, car of Frentzen's going to have his work cut out.
And the Prosts are up to fourth and fifth.
Yeah, Mika's dropped back quite considerably, actually.
So Barrichello leads in the Stewart Ford, the white car. The yellow car is Heinz-Harald Frentzen, the Jordan Honda. And in red is Schumacher's Ferrari. Then Panis and Trulli in the Prost. And Ralf Schumacher is now up for 6th. We'll be right back. French Grand Prix where Michael Schumacher is giving chase to the lead. Schumacher, having worked by Heinz-Harald Frentzen for 2nd place, is now right up the rear wing of Rubens Barrichello. Well, let's show you how Schumacher came to 2nd place.
Look at that, comes right down inside Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Frentzen did give him a lot of room. It was a very generous move by the part of Heinz-Harald, but obviously he would probably felt his brakes were locking up. He didn't want to give in afterwards, but he was quite happy at that point because I think he was having his own problems coming in there under braking. Meanwhile, we see Rubens Barrichello, who, don't forget, did an incredible job at Monaco a couple of years ago and did a super job for them.
So Barrichello leads now from Schumacher, Frentzen, Penny and Trulli, both of Alain Prost cars up in the points, and Ralf Schumacher now 6th. Mika Hakkinen rejoined in 7th place after his spin. Eddie Irvine is 8th, Fisichella 9th, Zonta 10th, and then 1 lap off the pace, Luca Badoer, Pedro de la Rosa, and Tora Takagi. Everyone else in the garage at 40 laps. Now, it is likely this race will not go the 72-lap distance, as there are 51 minutes left on the clock of the 2-hour time limit. Here's Schumacher, had a look inside, now looking outside.
I'm going to say not a very ideal place to overtake there, Michael. Michael was very close to him last lap, as you may remember, but he lost it on the exit of one of the, I can't remember which turn it was, and he went out very wide, lost a lot of time. Actually, it was out of here, and he lost a lot of time coming out of the Estoril curve, and he couldn't quite make it back on Rubens. Remember also that when they're picking these speeds up, his vision is certainly impaired. Look at him catch up. Oh, look at that under braking. What an incredible maneuver. Now, he's got to block him out coming out. He's got to get down the gears and
couldn't do it.
Distraction, but no, he's not done it. That just shows you what's happened. Rubens he almost dummied him.
He did.
That clever bit of stuff by Rubens Barrichello. Michael storms down the inside. He gave him too much room, and then Michael did. Here we go again. Down the inside, can't stop, doesn't want to lock it up.
Oh, I love Barrichello.
Barrichello's great move there. He gets in the right gear and off he goes. Superb bit of driving.
That was it. Barrichello overshot the apex on the outside, did a very, very sharp turn in so he could accelerate before Michael, and Barrichello takes back the lead.
Now Barrichello he also needs a fine result for Stewart Ford. He's done so well for them this year. They're really on a roll since, look at him, Michael going around the outside of him, coming onto the short straightaway. No, it's not going to work for him there. Yeah, and Barrichello taking the tight line, coming down into the tight chicane. Michael's not going to have a go there. It seems very slippery out of this turn. Now they're coming onto the pit straight, blocking him out again. Michael was fairly quick. It was alongside Barrichello coming down this straight last time. Not this time, though. There's a look. Now,
looks outside, and here comes now Frentzen.
Well, of course, what's happening in front? These two are having such a dice blocking one another. They're slowing the whole race down, believe it or not.
No, they're bringing Frentzen and Olivier Panis to them.
And Ralf Schumacher having another excellent drive, you know, in that Williams. He's done such a stirring job this year. What an inspiration that young man has been since his early times at Jordan.
Well, Barrichello's stock, with all of the Schumi haters, has just gone up dramatically. Same hairpin. Now this time it's Schumacher that tried that late turn in, but it did not gain him any ground as Barrichello refused to yield and takes back the lead.
Not that much water coming off those tires in the slowest corners, so the water is running away quite profusely. Ooh, look, Barrichello went out quite wide there. Michael's on the inside. Has he got him? No.
Oh, it's close.
Incredible bit of driving, though. Just hold those two cars side by side through there. They did a great job.
This is fantastic.
Here he
Schumacher
goes
tries it again. Darts back across to the inside and then back on line.
Is this exciting racing or what?
This is fantastic.
This will be likely like at Indianapolis next year, let me tell you. On those twists and turns.
Without the rain, I hope. There you see the front half dozen.
Look at Michael really working poor old Rubens over. Because Michael really gets alongside him coming out onto the pit straight. Rubens is not going to be dummied quite so badly this time. He takes a bit more of an open line. Michael can't get alongside him.
There's your top 6. And you can just about throw a blanket over the final. Yeah, Eddie up. My gosh, Eddie
Remember, of course, that Eddie had a 35-second pit stop when he went in to begin the rain. He went in thinking he would quickly put tires on. Oh, look at how wide those guys go. Eddie went in very quickly, very early on, and of course the team weren't prepared. They didn't have the wet tires ready. And he took a 35-second pit stop. But then, of course, after that, they bring out the caution car. So here we go, Michael down the inside. He's got in this time. Yeah, much more sensible.
Same thing, though.
Same thing, but
here
no, he's
comes
not gonna get in.
Barrichello.
No, he won't get in this time, unless that Ford's got 1,000 horsepower. And now it's sad to see that he got by him, because Rubens has done such a great job, but he is a fabulous driver in the rain. We saw him at Monaco, had that great second place in the Stewart, the first year they came out as a team. He is an inspired driver, and of course, he did so well against Senna not that long ago.
Yes.
Here he comes down the inside. Rubens made Michael go on a lot wetter part of the track initially, but Michael made sure he didn't overbrake this time. Down the inside, Rubens thinks he'll nip up the inside, which is an old Ford Formula 3 habit, but it didn't work this time.
And again, we apologize for the video breakup. We understand that you're experiencing with the world feed being transmitted back to the States. But that is beyond our control. As Michael Schumacher has come to the front.
Now, we daren't say it yet with so many laps to go, but only once as a driver won 3 straight French Grand Prix. That was the great Alain Prost, who in fact won 6 Grand Prix. As we watch Eddie Irvine taking yet another position. Well, this is the position he took actually when he got by Trulli to get into 6th place. Prost won in 88, 89 and 90. And Schumacher, of course, has won this race the last 2 and 4 out of the last 5. And Damon Hill was the one in the middle after the 2 and the 2. So look at the lead that Michael Schumacher has pulled out already. He's knocking 3 seconds a lap off Barrichello's lap.
Well, Michael Schumacher, acknowledged as the best driver in the world in the rain, had a fierce battle with Barrichello to take the lead, but there's still lots of racing left in the Grand Prix of France. Left to run, Michael Schumacher's Ferrari leading, Rubens Barrichello in the Stewart Ford, Heinz-Harald Frentzen in the Jordan Honda, Olivier Panis in the Prost. But a great battle back off the lead, which Schumacher has now extended to 5 seconds. Here we see Mika Hakkinen having caught up Eddie Irvine. Jim Rome tells it like it is on the Nightline of sports talk shows, The Last Word, weeknights at 6:30 and midnight on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listing.
Look at this group, Mike. They're having one heck of a burn up here. Absolutely astonishing bit of stuff. They're so close, and the poor guys behind surely can't see that much. They're having to wipe the crud off their visors. They're not seeing much out of their mirrors either, because they're getting muck all over them. But Barrichello is actually probably only slightly holding them up.
Now it's Frentzen in 3rd in yellow, Panis, the dark blue car, in 4th. Ralf Schumacher in 5th, Eddie Irvine, Mika Hakkinen. Jarno Trulli has dropped behind them into 8th place.
Look how they brake going into this corner. Oh, Eddie, you nearly overshot it. You let Hakkinen through if you're not careful. You don't need to do that. Well, if Hakkinen is running a dry setup, he's doing a tremendous job in 7th place. We discussed that at the beginning of the race, because he was storming through the field, whereas Michael Schumacher was sliding backwards in the field. We're pretty convinced that Ferrari are running a wet setup, preparing for this wet situation.
Damon Hill has talked to some of the press on site, and of course the question has come up whether he will complete the season, or after the disaster of this weekend at Silverstone might be his last race. I would hate to see all of this pressure push Damon into retirement before he decides it's time, as we watch Eddie Irvine in the Ferrari there chasing Ralf Schumacher's Williams.
I think the pressure's totally a personal thing. I think it's something he's figuring out, that he really has lost the enjoyment of it. Although on a day like today, you'd have a blast out there slowing around the circuit, provided you keep it on the road. But he had a mechanical problem and had to stop. Having talked about slithering around the track, though, I was talking with Eddie Jordan last weekend at the Google Festival of Speed. We had a wonderful weekend, and they're preparing the Ferrari pits. And Eddie said they can't get any hotels around Manicure, it's impossible. So they were driving back from the track 2 years ago, and they saw all these canals. So he hires canal boats, barges, and the whole crew stay on barges on the river just down the road.
That's great. All right, second pit stops are coming up, and for that knot of cars from 3rd back through 8th, this could mean some big changes. Eddie Irvine is coming in this lap, we're told. Ferrari's laid out for Irvine. Michael Schumacher now has an 8-second lead.
It makes sense for Eddie to come in now because he's in that block, battling out second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh place. He's not going anywhere at all. So better bring him in, change onto some decent tyres, and he can have a run, assuming that the others will also come in and change their wet tyres.
I'm a little surprised here. Cigarette advertising is banned in France, so we don't see any of those names on the cars. But look around the circuit. They allow brands like Marlboro to buy billboard space, and you can see the triangular Marlboro emblems on bridges and on course signage. You can't put the name on, but you can buy the space and put your colors up there. I'm not sure what kind of a ban that is. I guess it could only be French.
Well, it shows that it's a bit of a farce, the whole thing, when it comes to how much you can do and what you can't do. Here's Eddie coming in. Another great drive by Eddie. Irvine, remember, he did start in 17th place on the grid because he had a lurid time in qualifying yesterday, not getting out in the right session at all, or the right part of the session.
And had a horrible first pit stop because the team was not clued in that he was coming in.
Good stop.
Yes.
Sorry, Mike.
Yes, very good, 7 seconds. First stop for Irvine. They didn't even have the tires, the pigs out of the blankets. They just were not ready.
Hakkinen having a look there at Olivier Panis, but Panis not giving an inch, blocking him as he comes in. Woohoo, look at Panis. Remember, the pride of France is on Panis' shoulder right now, holding up the 1998 world champion. Look at him.
Hope he sees him. Yes.
Good, very good bit of driving by Hakkinen. Very, very smooth stuff there.
So Mika Hakkinen moves up. And he'll pick over 4th place now, with Irvine having made the pit stop. Hakkinen up one more notch. What a tremendous drive he has had from 14th on the grid. Well, of course, Peter Windsor has watched the McLarens with the drivers' names on the side of the cars, and everybody else says team instead of West. What of it, Peter, in this tobacco regulation on race car sponsorship?
These non-tobacco advertising races actually are a huge pain for the teams because they have to relivery all the trucks, all the team uniforms, all the driver uniforms, all the mechanic car suits for the pit stop. It's just an endless thing, and sometimes they have 2 different types of non-tobacco advertising. So it really is a full-time squad of people involved throughout the year, just looking after the livery for tobacco sponsors.
Well, it does certainly make it a tough job for the team with 2 complete sets of uniforms. That is for the 5 teams that depend heavily upon tobacco sponsorships. So Barrichello is still feeling the pressure right there from Heinz-Harald Frentzen.
Michael Schumacher must have had a bad moment last lap and slid off the road somewhere because he lost his nearly 8-second lead, 8.5-second lead that he had over Barrichello, and they were right behind him. He's starting to pull away again now, but he must have nearly got off somewhere out there, which we didn't pick up, unless he has a mechanical problem. But he doesn't seem to have a
Look at there, a minute 42 was his last lap.
Yeah, so he lost 10 seconds, well, say 8.7 seconds on one lap. He must have gone out very wide somewhere.
Out of our sight and apparently out of the French camera range somehow. But whatever has happened, Schumacher continues to lead, but has now dropped back into the clutches of Barrichello.
Yeah, of course, Schumacher was hoping to get a nice buffer so he could go in and change some fresh tyres and maybe even come out still in the lead. Not easy to do when you have got to get in the pits and get out. But he's pulling away again now.
And it is suspected that Schumacher is having some sort of engine problem. The car did not go off the course. According to a look of all of the videotape outputs from the cameras, as here's Ralf Schumacher in.
Ralf doing a superb job as he's done, as I've said before. Great stop by Williams. Thank goodness for Ralf this year. They wouldn't be looking too good without.
Now he surrenders 4th place with the pit stop. That will move Hakkinen up to 4th. There's the lead, Michael Schumacher from Rubens Barrichello. And other than Peter tipping us that it could be engine trouble, no indication as to why Schumacher lost 10 seconds in one lap.
It could easily be an engine problem, but then let's face it, he lost a lot of time in one lap, and he's lost no time in the last 2 laps.
There's the tire and bun warmers at work in the Ferrari pit.
Warmest place in town.
And it looks like time. 32 minutes left on the 2-hour countdown clock. At 52 laps complete, 20 laps to go.
Doesn't sound much wrong with that Ferrari's engine.
No.
He's still getting the power down all right.
And
He's going to come in this lap. He's just going through the chicane. He'll slip into the pit road now. Here he comes. No, he doesn't. He's going another lap.
well. And Derek, a little quick math, we may be able to complete the 72-lap distance within the time allotted.
Well, I was thinking that too, Mike, but I'm not much of a mathematician, so I left it to your superior brain.
I can cash my check. That's about as far as I go. but we should be able to just barely get the 72 laps in within the 2-hour time limit, barring any other unforeseen difficulties. Part of the activity in the Ferrari pit includes a new steering wheel out there. Perhaps as Hakkinen has a look around the outside of the remaining Jordan for Heinz-Harald Frentzen. And it may be a gear selection problem on Michael.
It could easily be, yes. He just loses a gear, and we've had this before this year. Of course, there's a lot of water splashing around out there today as well, or has been. Anything can happen.
Stewart is now laid out for Barrichello, so he may pit at the same time. And if you look at the rooster tail from the back of these cars in most areas of the course, there is a lot less of it. So the track is drying, and there's the new steering wheel that's being readied for Michael. Well, he's built his lead back up to 3.4 seconds. It had fallen down to 0.8 of a second.
So maybe he fixed it, or it was fixed, or it fixed itself. But it's always worrying if you're not sure whether it's going to shift gear for you properly. Oh no! Is that Eddie?
It is Irvine who is off the course as Schumacher is in the pits.
Remember, Eddie had been in for his time, so he was in a hurry.
Barrichello stays out. Will they change the steering wheel? Here's they will.
I think he knows they are. They're fitting it on now. All okay? Yeah, everything's good.
Again, we apologize for the video breakup in the
slow stop. Here he goes. 13 seconds. He didn't need a slow stop, but still quite a reasonable way to go.
Well, what a break for Stewart.
Look. This is Hakkinen really working over the back. Here he goes. Hakkinen's got to go by Heinz-Harald now. No, he's not. No.
Oh, and the Stewart really locked the breakup coming into that corner as well.
Mika needs this, though. Mika doesn't need slow laps now, although none of the guys in front are going slowly, with the advantage that he has now over Michael. Michael having a long pit stop, plus he lost that time.
And that is a great break for Stewart. If they can turn out a 7-second pit stop for Barrichello, and now, the longer they leave Barrichello out, of course, the less fuel they will need to put in, and the quicker that stop will be.
That's Eddie on his off-course excursion just now. Here he goes, getting all a little bit loose. He did a lot of this yesterday, or in fact he found he was spinning quite a lot yesterday. Let's see if he damages anything underneath the car. Boy, you're lucky if you don't rip something off when you go through that stonework there. Keep it going, Eddie. Eddie was down in 8th place at that point. He's even further down now, but he went and lost the position, probably just lost a lot of time.
Derek, by my unofficial count, 6 lead changes, and all on the racetrack, none in the pit lane, but 6 lead changes in this race thus far. Well, we'll see if Barrichello comes in pit side to make his final stop when we come back. The Fox Sports Net coverage of the Grand Prix of France. Fox Sports Net coverage of the Grand Prix of France. Tremendous battles in the rain as Mika Hakkinen battled Heinz-Harald Frentzen for 2nd place, and now closes down on the leader, Rubens Barrichello, in the Stewart Ford. Just moments ago, Hakkinen on that long straightaway dueled Frentzen.
Yeah, what a tremendous move, and finally, poor old Heinz-Harald just overdoes it, can't get into the corner, and of course, Mika goes by, and then he streaks up onto Rubens Barrichello. Here he is working him over, going by the pits. Mika will have to wait, I think, till we get down the straight into Adelaide hairpin.
Well, Frentzen battled all the way down that straightaway, but apparently left his braking too late. Hakkinen slipped inside and is now 2nd behind Barrichello, then Frentzen, Olivier Panis, Arnaud Trulli, and Michael Schumacher.
Brother Ralph right behind him, let me tell you. And Irvine there in 8th place as well. Eddie having been off the road just now. Here we go. Is he going to work him over coming down in it? He is. He's coming. Oh, he's going to go.
Same place.
I can't believe Rubens did that. That was really rather... No, he still hasn't got him because Rubens has got better traction coming out. That's exactly what Rubens did to Michael Schumacher not long ago. Remember, Schumacher went in for a steering wheel change and a stop. Whether he had to really make it on tyres and fuel, we don't know. But it certainly is to his detriment. Mika going down the inside there as they come into the double left-hander.
And again, Barrichello leaves him a lot of room. This time takes the apex.
Here we go, let's watch it again. Mika pulls out, goes down the inside, but he's not really making a great move at this point. No, he's not going to make it. No, he's not going to make it. Rubens gives him a ton of room, but remember, Rubens has the perfect line, probably a little better traction, because Mika has to make a tighter turn in the corner and can't get the power down.
Barrichello maybe could have come across Mika's line, but certainly didn't want to risk collision. He's in a position to have his best result for Stewart.
Exactly, and also don't forget, of course, if he had it done, he might well have got too much wheel spin coming out. He wanted to be on a nice, smooth arc around the corner to get traction.
So Hakkinen tracks down Barrichello for the lead. Frentzen is third. Trulli now ahead of Penny. Penny had just made a pit stop.
With only 14 laps to go, it makes you wonder just what Schumacher's strategy was, but he must have had a problem with that steering wheel. Here we go again, Mika. Look at the power of that McLaren. He's got him this time, no doubt about it. Then just moves across just a little bit to upset Barrichello's line. Mika does not want to do the same thing again.
But here comes Rubens, same thing, late apex down the inside, and he's not going to get it as Hakkinen comes across track to close off the line.
Shows the power that Ford engine has. They've really got some power in that engine this year. What a stirring drive by Mika Hakkinen. He has driven through from 14th place on the grid, and we all thought that he had dry settings on the car. Here we go, let's watch him again. Right up, slipstreaming as we call it, drafting. Look at picking up a lot more water on the inside line as he comes down the Adelaide hairpin. 190 miles, probably 185 in the wet. Braking, slowing it around. Moves across a little bit to push Barrichello out. Say, don't come in, boy, and make it difficult for me. And then Mika gets as wide a line as he possibly can, gets the power on, and away he goes. Never to be seen again by Rubens, I feel. Meanwhile, Schumacher's having quiet time back there, but of course, he did make that extra pit stop.
Trulli, we believe, is pitted this time and may surrender 4th place.
Schumacher not actually lapping any quicker than the fellows up front, which makes one wonder maybe there is a minor problem with the engine as well. We arrive with Frentzen. Oh, here we go, De La Rosa, Takagi off the road. No, I'm wrong again. De La Rosa is right the first time, and he loses it coming out. Not very bright, I have to admit. What a terrible time the Arrows team is having. Here we go, down inside. Come on. See, oh, he's trying to get some gears in the Jordan.
No gear.
Nothing like the old hand shift. Oh, how sad. Lost him a ton of time there. He'll go back into clutches of Trulli. Here we go again as he comes down. Can't get the gears. Look at the front wing on that Arrows beside him. The front wing is very damaged, having gone off the road. That was De La Rosa. And then, of course, poor Frentzen can't get any gears at all. Eddie Jordan looking a little bit perplexed. He's got them all working again now. He didn't actually lose a place, but he must have lost quite a bit of time. He was some 12 seconds ahead of Jarno Trulli, so he wouldn't have lost that amount. Just hope he doesn't get it again at the hairpin. Probably because he didn't quite get the right gear. But you may remember in the in-car we had just now, while we follow him,
off to the pits. You can see how they struggle for grip here on the wet surface. De La Rosa is in to repair damage from going off the course. And Peter tells us from the pit lane, third-hand conversation one of the reporters had with Damon Hill, who is extremely frustrated and reportedly told one member of the press that you may have just seen my last race. There are many questions to be answered between now and Silverstone.
That would cause a lot of a stir with the British Grand Prix. Luckily, they sold all the tickets already. Hakkinen streaking away, and Michael Schumacher not being able to respond at all. He's still 2.5 seconds off Mika's best laps. So there must be a problem with the Ferrari.
Well, Barrichello led the first 5 laps. David Coulthard took over for 4 circuits and then went out of the race with mechanical failure while leading. This is Ricardo Zonta pitting while in 9th place. Mika Hakkinen Barrichello went back to the lead, was passed over by Hakkinen, who had a spin. Barrichello back to the front. Schumacher took the lead. It has been a strange day, but we have now had, I believe, 7 lead changes, and all taking place with overtaking on the circuit.
You may not have noticed with the in-car shots we had just now of the Jordan, as Heinz Harrell came out of a turn, he could actually drop it down a gear while he was in the turn. That is one of the advantages of having this type. This watch now down the inside, yeah, just taking a look at the front wheels of the Ferrari, see he's not going to run into it.
That's Eddie Irvine passing Jarno Trulli.
The other way around, actually, I would say.
Oh, sorry.
Unless you look at the other shot.
Sorry.
Jarno just checking on Eddie as he went by to check that he wasn't taking his front wheel with him.
Well, this will have to go down as one of Mika Hakkinen's most satisfying drives. Had a bit of frustration there as he spun the car, lost it there on one occasion, but to come for 14th on the grid and deal with both dry, wet, and variable conditions and end up in the lead has got to be tremendously satisfying.
Oh yes, to me it's the best drive I've ever seen Mika do.
I would agree. I mean, this is far more than just having the best car, but to adapt to these changing conditions has really been a test of driver today.
And the track is drying out considerably now. They're down to 1 minute 30 laps, which is still 12 seconds off what they did in the dry. But the tyres must be holding out remarkably well. I noticed Barrichello was running through the wet part of the circuit to try and keep the tyres cool just now. Look at Mika, he's really working it over. He could back off a bit if he wanted to. He's got 8 seconds.
10 laps to go, and again a light drizzle on the circuit, but let's ride with Frentzen.
To grip, trying to get those tyres to grip, shows this 800 horsepower is really mighty to try and handle.
Now Derek Hakkinen, Barrichello, and Frentzen have only made 1 pit stop.
Hear him go down a gear then, in the middle of the corner? He did that before.
"12 cars remaining, 10 laps remain. Mika Hakkinen, your leader.
Look how much lock they have to put on. Full lock as they turn into the Adelaide hairpin. I'm glad that Heinz Harrell's got his gears to work again, because it would have been awfully bad luck after the last race when he was running a strong second in Canada and he had the disc explodes, whacking him in the wall. He went from 150 miles an hour to 0 in something like 3 feet. And he did get a bruised spine, some bruised vertebra without a doubt. Here we go. Somebody's losing it here. Ooh, dear, 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 dear.
Was that a save? Yes,
yes, it was just the save, but he let his teammate by, didn't it?
Trulli?
That Panis move let Trulli go by.
And we're told that Jordan does not plan to stop. That Frentzen will go the distance, and they do not plan a second pit stop. No. However, Stewart is setting up for Barrichello. Now, right now, Barrichello and Frentzen are just 3 seconds apart.
Well, that would ruin that party, wouldn't it?
Ralf Schumacher here.
Doing another fine job, some 35 seconds behind the leader, but doing a wonderful job in that, William.
And in the points, he's the 5th place car. You see right behind him, though, Eddie Irvine.
They have been saying that they're going to run this with the BMW engine next year. We hear various rumors saying that the engine isn't running that well, and it's in fact very, very heavy, which isn't good at all. They want that engine to be running very competitively right now.
Going to put a new nose in Barrichello's car. So apparently a little damage there somewhere. As Irvine stalks Ralf Schumacher, difference in their lap times right there. So Eddie apparently is a little bit the faster car. But whether he can climb the points ladder, oh, having a look on the outside. That's the long way around, isn't it?
That is the long way around, but he's hoping he might nip on the inside, these two, of course, had a very short but spirited dice at Montreal. McLaren setting up for a pit stop, we hear. We tend they'll only come in for a splash and dash, but Hakkinen is in the pits.
Well, this would just be, will it be a splash and go, or will they go to tires? They are doing tires.
Yeah, they do them both in the same amount of time.
The fueling was well done.
Yes, longer stop than he wanted, but I think Rubens is coming in as well.
And Frentzen.
Michael Schumacher 30 odd seconds behind is not enough for him. And if Jordan could get a lead, could get a victory here. Look, remember his tires will be a little bit more worn.
So Frentzen is now the leader. Barrichello. Rubens.
Great drive by Rubens. Barrichello comes out just in front. Is it in front of Schumacher? Just. Woohoo.
No, that's Irvine. Is it? Or
no, he must be Michael, because Irvine had to go by
Ralph Schumacher, right.
Michael needed those points. He could do with that third place. But Rubens, of course, has got fresh tyres, albeit, should I say, the track is drying out.
So it makes Frentzen the leader. Half dozen or more lead changes today, which is tremendous. And Barrichello trying to move back up as Heinz-Harald Frentzen is the leader of the French Grand Prix. 7 laps to go. We'll be right back. Frentzen with a 3.2 second lead, contesting his 88th Grand Prix. But this is the battle. This is a good one.
And Michael just doesn't seem to have the steam. Makes you wonder when maybe he's lost the gear too, which means that when he's slick, he has to go through a gap each time.
4th, 5th, and 6th place we're watching. The Ferraris, Michael Schumacher and Eddie Irvine. Ralf Schumacher celebrating his 24th birthday this week. Between them in 5th.
Look at this little group. They really are close, but Michael's not having a good day. He must be so frustrated, because the race really was his earlier on, as of course it was David Coulthard's.
It was David's, it was Mika's, it was Michael's, it was Rubens. It's been quite a day here.
And now it's Heinz-Harald's, which is absolutely wonderful. He could pull this off. First win since the 1997 Grand Prix of San Marino, when he drove for Williams. And then he leaves Williams after a very, oh, look at Schumacher getting it sideways, Michael getting it sideways. Look at Ralf having a look at Michael. He's got to go by him. No, he's not. And there's Rubens, not that far in front. Ralf could actually get a third. Well, probably if he got by Michael sooner, he could have got a third place. I don't think he's going to get third now. Eddie having a look too, stirring up the brothers.
And there
look at Eddie goes. Eddie goes. That's a bit tough on Ralf. That is. That's a bit tough. That's going to drag him. Look at the power of the way he gets the power down. Really, very well. Eddie obviously lost so much time going in there. Cannot get the wheels back on the road. The grip.
See light rain continuing to fall. Here's another look.
Eddie down the inside. Of course, he's now got to get down the gearbox, down to second, and then he loses it. Here he goes, right down the outside.
Well, look how wet the track is where Eddie is.
And then he can't get the grip again. Here we go. There's Ralf overtaking his brother. Is he going to let him go? It'd be awful if the two brothers hit. Family feud there. Oh, look at this.
Ralf gets inside and Michael gets loose, and there goes Ralf.
Yeah, Ralph's got the power. Michael's engine is lacking power decidedly. So that puts Ralf up into 4th place. Superb drive.
Well done, Ralf.
Is Eddie going to go by Michael? Oh, probably not. He wouldn't be a very good move for the championship hopes of Michael, but...
Oh, he's going.
He's going, yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised.
No, well, he hasn't gone. He's going. It can't be too nice out there either, Eddie, can it?
Well, if Ferrari's hopes for the championship rest with Michael Schumacher, you would think that Irvine would be on team orders to hold position.
Yeah, with only 3 laps to go, you'd think he would to let Michael get the maximum number of points.
Even though the difference is 2 points to 1. It's only a 1-point difference, but only has a way of becoming very important toward the end of the season.
Absolutely.
So I think perhaps Eddie was demonstrating there that he could pass Michael anytime he wished.
Well, he's hoping Michael might make a little error, get a bit sideways place somewhere, and he can just say, oh, well, I had to go by because Michael backed off.
I think that would be difficult to explain to Jean Todt and Ross Brawn at the end of the race.
Yeah.
So Frentzen leading, hoping for his second Grand Prix win. Mika Hakkinen now in second, last lap, 4.3 seconds back. And both the Prosts running, but just out of the points. Trulli 7th, Penny 8th, Ricardo Zonta 9th, fully recovered. Luca Badoer 10th, Tora Takagi 11th, Pedro de la Rosa 12th.
I think Michael has a problem with the gear. He seems to have the maximum speed on the straight. He doesn't seem to have it out of the corner.
Now they are 9 seconds, the two Ferraris are 9 seconds ahead of Jarno Trulli, so they should be able to hold on to those points positions.
And here goes Frentzen to start his last lap. A monumental time absolutely brilliant for Jordan. Absolutely outstanding performance by Heinz Harald. He's been there so many times this year, done a magnificent job. And here he is coming through to win for Jordan in a race that, after his accident in Montreal, you wonder whether he would be doing it again for some considerable time.
Oh yes, anybody who saw Montreal has got to be feeling for Frentzen and what he's been able to do here in just 2 weeks' time. Of course, winning, Derek, is very good tonic for whatever ails you.
Absolutely. I mean, he looked so good before the race, walking around. He looked in such good shape.
This would be, what, the second Grand Prix win for Eddie Jordan. Damon Hill last year, and both coming in the rain.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It just shows how good Eddie must be confidently saying, come on there, Heinz Harald, just keep it going. Just ride with him on this very victorious lap of his.
5-second lead on Hakkinen. Barrichello, 30 seconds off the lead. Ralf Schumacher and Michael, 2 seconds apart, 4th and 5th. Eddie Irvine, 7 seconds up on Jarno Trulli. So Trulli trying to close up on the two Ferraris, one of which Schumacher's must be wounded. Michael Schumacher off pace by some 4 seconds a lap to the leader, Frentzen. Final corner. After a bad crash in Canada, Heinz Harald Frentzen comes back and scores his and Jordan's second Formula One victory.
Absolutely brilliant, absolutely superb bit of driving. Great drive from Mika Hakkinen. Pity he had to come in for those tires and fuel right at the end, but then these guys, their strategy worked. Absolutely wonderful for Eddie Jordan. And for the Buzzing Hornets. When you consider Heinz Harald Frentzen was almost written out of the script by all the Formula One teams.
Yes.
When he was with Williams, he just didn't fit in there, and here he is, had some great results. Second in Australia, third in Brazil. And he was 4th, and then he had his crash at Montreal. I mean, just superb bit of driving from him.
Here's Barrichello crossing the line in 3rd. He's starting on pole, leading much of the race, and Eddie Irvine dutifully soldiers home behind Michael Schumacher. They are 5th and 6th, picking up the final points. Well, we'll be back for the podium and the press conference, and a great day for Eddie Jordan and Heinz Harald Frentzen in France. You're watching Formula One on Fox Sports Net. Where Heinz Harald Frentzen has scored his second Formula One victory, beating Mika Hakkinen to the finish. Rubens Barrichello, all of whom led. Ralf Schumacher, Michael Schumacher, and Eddie Irvine picks up the final point for Ferrari. Both the Prosts finished, Trulli and Penny, Zonta, Badoer, Takagi, both the Arrows finished, De La Rosa. The first 12. Driver points, Hakkinen now 8 points up on Michael Schumacher, Irvine, Frentzen, Ralf, and Fisichella. Constructor points, Ferrari 6 points now ahead of McLaren and Jordan in a solid 3rd. Let's go to the podium for the ceremonies. In the green shirt, that's actor Michael Douglas, there as a guest of the race sponsor to congratulate Eddie Jordan and the first 3 finishing drivers.
Eddie Jordan must be so elated. I was with him last weekend, and he was just, really looking forward to this race, knowing the car is getting better and better.
Michael Douglas presents the winner's trophy to Heinz Harald Frentzen. Sportsnet coverage of the 85th French Grand Prix continues with the Podium Finishers press conference.
Welcome to the top 3 drivers from a fantastic French Grand Prix. Heinz Harald Frentzen, Mika Hakkinen and Rubens Barrichello. Heinz Harald, first of all, we have to ask you, when did you decide just to do one stop, and how much fuel did you have left at the end?
Well, it's not a decision that I took in this moment. When I went into the pits, it was raining quite heavily all of a sudden, and everybody tried to make it on as safe as possible to the pits. But then I noticed that the guys on the refuel were taking a hell lot of time to refuel the car, and I was thinking, when I went out again, the car feels pretty heavy as well. I said, Jesus, how am I going to keep the car on the road with this aquaplaning? I was suffering quite a lot. I noticed that the guys around me must have been less fuel because initially they pulled away quite quickly. But luckily then the pace car came in, and then we had time for the radio conversations to the pits, talking about the strategy, and I knew that I was then pretty heavy on fuel. It was pretty tight. I had to save a little bit of fuel in one stage to make it to the end, but we have good radio communications, and the communication worked out perfectly.
About 20 laps in the end, you seem to have a nasty moment with one of the arrows at the hairpin. What happened there?
Well, it was very tight, and I pulled in very tight, and then I didn't have any gear, so I don't know what happened. I had to look for gear first, but first I saw that my gearbox was broken, and that was a bit of an adrenaline moment.
Hi, thank you. Mika, I expect that's the most amazing race of your very long career. You went from 14th to 2nd, you spun, went back to 8th, you then got to 1st, and finally you finished 2nd. Talk us through it.
Wow, don't say that. I cannot talk that through the whole race. So many things happened, but what was most important was the commitment. No, not commitment. It's not the right word, but the strength. Psychologically starting this race from 14th position, not only for me but also for the team, for the mechanics and engineers. Obviously, we have used it being on front of the row most of the season, and suddenly we're sitting in 14th position. So it was not difficult. It was a new type of situation. So we have to completely build everything again. So, the race was just great. I mean, everybody did the good tactics. The team did a great job. Communication was absolutely perfect. And I was able to push the car on limit. I would say 80% of the race. And when it started raining, that was not one of my best moments, and particularly because I spun and I lost obviously a lot of time, and that is the obviously reason why I'm sitting here today in 2nd position. But after all, it doesn't matter. It was great fun.
You had a great battle with Rubens. How did you see that?
Well, it's great. It's great to, don't worry, I won't give too many compliments. No, but it has been a day-to-day again, which we can prove the drivers, all of us, we are professional drivers. That means we are not banging wheels each other. Even it is close, but it's not banging wheels each other. We can have a great race without touching. Even it is, like I said, close. And this is exactly what the motor racing should be. And once we are the example also for the young generation who are racing in go-karts and low formulas. And this is where it should be, not banging wheels or crashing each other. It has to be fair and square. And the Rubens, where he drove today, was fabulous. There was nothing tricky except normal little things, but nothing serious. And same was the other drivers, and it was great fun.
Mika, thanks. Rubens, a great race from you as well, but after leading for so long, are you disappointed with 3rd?
Well, it's mixed emotions. I don't think I am disappointed because I am on the podium. It's to be the second time in the season we are in the podium. So basically, I'm not disappointed. But leading the race, I had that feeling that it could be today. It could be could be ours today. But when it started to rain heavily, my car was aquaplaning quite a lot. I was lucky not to spin off, and also when it was halfway through after the first stop, when we had some wet practice, because it was going, my car was getting oversteery, so it was quite difficult to drive. I had to concentrate quite a lot, and I was losing time for sure to the McLaren, to the Ferrari, and also to the Jordan. So at the end of the day, third is not a bad place to be today.
Now, you had great battles with both.
So a great victory for Heinz-Harald Frentzen and Eddie Jordan in France. We'll be right back to wrap things up. Grand Prix. Well, in 2 weeks' time, Derek, we go to your home Grand Prix.
Yes, Silverstone, of course, the home of British Motorsport and the home of Jordan Racing. So we expect great things from them there.
And you'll see that July 11th, 10 a.m. your local time on most of these Fox Sportsnet affiliates. We would like your comments, and we do read every single email. Send yours to formula1@foxsports.net. A great day for Heinz-Harald Frentzen and Jordan, each scoring their second Formula One victory. Rubens Barrichello with a third-place finish. Mika Hakkinen from 14th to the lead and an eventual second-place finish for McLaren. For Peter Windsor and Derek Bell, I'm Mike Joy. Thanks to Chris McClure for stepping in Canada, and we'll see you in Great Britain in 2 weeks' time. You've been watching Formula One on Fox Sports Net.